Miss Wolf. Welcome to OMG for today. We're on location here at our campsite, and we're talking today about subjects in unusual order. So we've got our grill back here, and our grill ladies are taking care of the grill. We've got our wood chopping going on here.
Stacking our wood.
Oh no.
So wow, we could review. We have our subject and we have our predicate, or our subject and our predicate. So let's look at a few of the examples on your guided practice for today. And I think I see our example coming up the hill now. Wow, here he comes. How you doing, Mr. Park Ranger?
I'm great. I'm the park ranger.
Hello, Park Ranger.
Well, hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hello,
Girls, how are you?
Good.
That's wonderful.
So we have Mr. Park Ranger. Would you like to help us chop our wood?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have been working hard all day, and since I have this extra axe that I always carry around with me, I'm going to hand it over.
Well, thank you. And one park ranger doesn't have an axe with him on hand all the time.
That's true.
That's a good park ranger. So let's look at number one. Our example was, for number one, over the hill came a park ranger. So for number one, we're going to look at where's our subject. So who came up over the hill? It was the park ranger for number one. So you're going to look in the sentence, and you're going to underline park manager, actually, not park ranger. He was our park manager.
Okay.
That's true. So I guess I'm supposed to chop some wood.
Chop some wood for us.
Alright, so here we're chopping some wood. Stand back. We're going to divide this wood into subject and predicate. I don't even know if I can hit it or not.
Come on!
Oh, no! I divided it. Did you see it?
It's split.
It split, just like that. So we're going to look at our other examples out inside the classroom because we've got a lot of camping left to do, don't we?
Where's the s'mores?
So let's get around the campfire.
OMG! OMG!
We're back from our day camp excursion.
Yes,
here
a lot
at,
of fun.
Here at the middle school, and I don't mean to be rude or anything, but you have a little bit of something, you know,
Oh,
a little something
I
left
do.
there.
Oh, must have been.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took a nap out there this afternoon after dinner.
yeah,
Must have
from
got
all
into
that
some-
chopping wood chips
Yeah, it was
blowing.
tough. It was work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That was a lot of fun.
It was. It was a lot of fun out there, practicing some grammar skills, having some hot dogs and hamburgers and grilled shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, great.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Love it.
I'm glad the park manager came by too.
Yeah.
Make sure we
he
had an
was
extra
such
axe.
a nice man.
He was a nice guy. He was a nice
Very
guy.
nice,
That's
yeah.
right. And I always have that axe handy.
Yeah.
That's right. So let's go ahead then and take a look at what we have for today for our grammar skills. And then we're going
Okay.
to look at our guided practice sheet. And I know we looked at one example in the down on the campfire, but we had a lot of camping to do and didn't have time to look at the rest of them. Yeah, of course. So let's take a look at what we have for our subjects in unusual order. So you want to start with the first one?
Okay, sure.
All right.
Let's first of all, let's look at your guided practice sheet. And it says, in most questions, the subject comes after the verb or between parts of the verb phrase.
Mm-hmm.
For example, are you ready? Have you packed a bag? And so our subject is just before the verb.
Exactly. So you have your verb phrase, have packed. It's going to
Oh.
come before your main verb.
Right.
Yeah, before your main verb. And a lot of times for those, you're just looking at your verb and see who did that, who actually performed that action.
The action, right.
Or who was that, or who is that, whatever if it was a linking verb.
Mhm.
And sometimes if it helps, I like to put them in a statement.
Oh, yeah, change the question into a statement.
Like
That's a
instead of
good
saying,
idea.
are you ready, you could say, you are ready. And that helps me find what the verb is.
That's a great strategy, yeah.
Exactly. So let's look at the second one. It says the subject of a command or imperative sentence is usually you. Like you're telling someone to do something. Often you doesn't appear in the sentence because it is implied or understood. Like the example, get into the car. The implied subject is you.
Okay, see, that one's a little tricky for me. So if it's a command,
It has to be a command sentence.
it has to be a command sentence. That makes it easier to understand.
So it has to be imperative. So remember we talked about imperative sentences yesterday.
Right.
It has to be a command. Okay, so when you're saying something, like shut that face.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm saying you shut that face. The subject isn't understood you.
You're so mean to me.
I don't mean to be.
Well, okay, moving on. I'm over it. In an inverted sentence, the subject comes after the verb. For example, off on a trip went the happy family. Family would be the subject of that sentence. What did the family do? Went off on a trip.
Exactly. So if you can think of your verb, and your verb in this case is went, who went or what went, and the family went. So if you figure out what your verb is and ask yourself who or what did it, then that makes it easier to find your subject.
Right.
All right, in some sentences beginning with the words here or there, which are demonstrative pronouns we'll talk about later.
Okay, big word.
The subject follows the verb. You find the subject by looking at the words that follow the verb. Here is the state park. There are many campsites available. So here your demonstrative pronoun at the beginning is not going to be your subject. So is your verb there. So what is? The park.
Park, right.
Park is. And there are many campsites available. Your verb again there. Are available is your verb phrase. What's available? Campsites. So
That's
your verb.
really neat. Okay, so that helps explain it a little bit. Okay, so let's look at the directions for the guided practice. In the following sentences, underline the simple subject once. If the subject is understood, write you in parentheses on the line provided.
Exactly, because there won't always be a subject. It could be an understood you.
If it's a command.
If it's a command, and only if it's a command.
Okay.
That's right. So for number 1, over the hill came a park manager, and we looked at that outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a park ranger outside, but in here it's a park manager.
Yeah.
So for number 1, over the hill came a park manager. Let's find our verb. Our verb is came.
Yeah.
So who came? Park manager. So manager would be underlined as our simple subject.
Right. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and look at number 2. Did he help the family with their tent? So looking for my verb, help. Did who help? Is that what I'm looking for? Is who helped the family with their tent?
Exactly.
And it
Who
would
performed
be
the verb?
he.
He
Right.
did help the family with
He.
their tent.
Right, change it into a statement. Great
That
strategy.
helps us to do. All right, for number 3, was the tent easy to assemble? We have another one of those questions. And your verb in this case, you look at your helping verb was, and you look at your main verb easy. Was easy. So what was easy to assemble? And it was the tent.
Right.
The tent was easy.
Right, we forgot our tent at the campsite.
Oh man, yeah. So I had to take a nap on the ground today.
Yeah, but like when we were at the campsite, it was like looking at number 4. Start the campfire carefully. A command. So we know the verb is start. So this is one of those where the subject is understood,
Yes.
and we would write you in parentheses on the line.
Yeah. It's an imperative sentence. You start the campfire carefully, but we don't always say you. We just tell it.
Right.
So in the blank, you're going to write you in parentheses.
Great.
You don't have
That's
to
easy.
underline anything because there's no subject.
No
there.
subject there. Great.
That's right. So,
Okay.
what you guys are going to be doing is your guided practice for
Thursday.
And you have 10 of those to do. See if we can do our best on figuring out where our subjects are. Remember your understood subjects. Remember if it's a question, if it makes it easier to put it into a statement. Look for your verb phrase and figure out what or who did that.
Right. Really helpful tips.
That's right.
Okay.
So, camping's over.
Yeah.
Back to work. Back to the grind.
OMG.
OMG.